All right, hi. So we are on our final topic for this trimester of trig. I'm very excited. I hope you all are too. All right, so now we just talked about finding the missing side of oblique triangles. Now we're going to talk about finding the area of oblique triangles. All right, so that's it. Area of oblique triangles, and then we're good. We've got it set, we've got it covered. Fantastic. All right, so let's get to it. So we just talked about the law of sines and the law of cosines, right? So here's a quick recap. We have the law of sines right here in green and the law of cosines right here in this dark red color. All right, so for the law of sines, we've got the sine of angle A divided by the length of side A is equal to the sine of angle B divided by the length of side B is equal to the sine of angle C divided by the length of side C. All right, so these are all ratios. And when we're using this formula, we're only going to be using 2 out of the 3 ratios to solve for a missing side. And for our purposes, we're mainly going to be using this in instances where we are given angle, angle, side. All right. Now let's take a look at the law of cosines here. So we've got a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine A. B squared equals a squared plus c squared minus 2ac cosine B. And c squared equals a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cosine C. All right, so we use that formula then when we are given side, angle, side. So when we're given 2 sides and an angle, we're going to use the law of cosines. When we're given 2 angles and 1 side, we're going to use the law of sines. So that is why I quickly talked about, right, those different theorems that you used in geometry before, because those theorems help us differentiate or pick between which of these 2 formulas we should be using in what circumstance, which one's going to be most helpful for us, right? So if you're given 2 angles and 1 side, law of sines right here. If you're given 2 sides and 1 angle, use the law of cosines, okay? So that is for finding the missing side. All right, so here's a practice problem. I'm not going to go over that because we just did that, right? But here, like I said, side, angle, side, you'll use the law of cosines, right? You'll plug your numbers in, you'll solve for the missing side. Now, we're talking about finding the area of an oblique triangle, all right? So we're not going to be able to take a look at all of the theorems for the purposes of our class. We're only going to take a look at a few. So this right here, this formula is when we're looking at side, angle, side, right? So for side, angle, side, so something that looks like this, side, angle, side, this is the formula that we can use to find the area of an oblique triangle, all right? So this is the formula right here. The area equals 1/2 AB sine of C, all right? Now, this formula actually works for any of the sides and angles that you are given, right? So this could technically also be 1/2 BC sine of A, or 1/2 AC sine of B, right? All that matters in this formula is that you are plugging in the 2 sides that you are given and the angle that you are given in side, angle, side, all right? So it's not necessarily, right, that it has to be side A or side B and side or an angle C, right? It just matters, again, that you are given side, angle, side, and that you plug in the 2 sides for A and B, and that you plug in the angle for C, okay? So whereas it does matter the order when you're looking at the law of sines, it doesn't technically matter for the law of cosines. It really, really doesn't matter when we're looking at the area, at least for this formula, right? So area is equal to 1/2 times one side length times the other side length times the sine of the angle that they give you. 1/2 AB times sine of C, okay? 1/2 times one side length times the other side length times the sine of the angle they give you. Okay, and this is actually pretty similar to hopefully you guys remember the formula for finding the area of a just a regular like right triangle, right? When you have the height, you do 1/2 base times height. Well, that's similar to what's happening here, right? It's a pretty similar formula, except we have an additional sine of an angle in there. Okay, So let's try an example of this. Let's say we're given, again, triangle ABC, and we're given this side right here, side B, right, is 10 inches. We're given that side A, across from angle A, right, is 12 inches, and that angle C in between these two sides is 62 degrees. All right, so to find the area of this triangle, all we have to do is just plug in the sides and the angle into this formula. So 1/2 AB sine of C will be 1/2 times 10 times 12 times the sine of 62 degrees. All right. And again, the order doesn't actually matter, right? Here I have written side B and side A. That doesn't matter. The order doesn't matter here. When we're looking at this formula, the order doesn't matter, right? So technically it would be 1/2 times 12 times 10, right? Because side A is 12 and side B is 10. Doesn't matter for this formula, right? So you can just plug that into your calculator then. 1/2 times 10 times 12 times the sine of 62 degrees. Again, remember to be using degree mode on your calculator because we are using degrees. And when you plug that in, you'll get 52.98 inches squared. And that's the area of this triangle. All right, so this technically says X down here. I don't even know why that's down there. I should erase it because we're not finding the missing side of X, right? We were in this problem, and that's why I just copy and pasted the graphic. But the area of this triangle right here, triangle ABC, the area is 52.98 inches squared. Pretty simple formula. All right, now there's another formula that we're going to use. And this formula is going to be used when we are given side, side, side. So we're given an oblique triangle. We're given the lengths of all three of the sides, and we want to try to find the area of this triangle. Well, this is how we would do it. All right, first we're going to start off by taking a look at this S thing right here. All right, this is called Heron's formula. So to do Heron's formula, we have to solve for this thing called S. S doesn't necessarily represent something physically, so it's not a very intuitive number to know, but it is a very helpful number for us to solve. So to solve for S, this letter S, it's going to be equal to A plus B plus C divided by 2. So all we're doing is we're taking the three sides that are given to us, right? So like I said, this formula is for when we're given side, 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 right? This one is for side, angle, side. This right here, this Heron's formula is for side, side, side. So we're going to take all of these three sides, we're going to add them together, and we're going to divide by 2. And that now becomes our value of this letter S, all right? So then, once we get the value for this letter S, we can plug it into our actual area formula. What is our area formula in Heron's formula? Well, it is the square root. It's a big square root of S times S minus A times S minus B times S minus C, okay? So we take this number S that we calculated, and then we plug it in. So we do S times S minus the length of one side times S minus the length of the second side times S minus the length of the third side. We multiply all of those together, and then we take the square root of all of that. All right, don't forget the square root. And once you take the square root, you'll find the area of your side, side, side oblique triangle. Okay, so let's try an example of this. So let's say we're given this triangle right here. 8, 10, and 11 centimeters are each of the sides. So we're given side, side, side. Cool. So that's how we know we're going to use Heron's formula. Well, what's the first thing to do? Solve for S. So S is equal to A plus B plus C divided by 2, right? Well, A right here is 10, B is 8, and C is 11. Again, the order doesn't matter for this formula. For solving the area, the order doesn't matter too much, all right? All we're going to do, though, right, is just add these three sides together, 8, 10, and 11, and then we're going to divide by 2. So 8 plus 10 plus 11 divided by 2. Again, the order doesn't matter in this formula, okay? So when we take 8 plus 10 plus 11, I'm putting them in parentheses to make sure that they're all in the numerator of this division that we're doing right now, this fraction, right? You'll get that S equals 14.5. Awesome. Like I said, this intuitively doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't represent an actual physical thing that's happening in the triangle, but it is a helpful number because now it's going to help us with our area formula. So to find the area of this 8, 10, 11 triangle, right, we're going to take this value S, 14.5, and we're going to plug it into our formula. So we're going to do the square root of S, 14.5, times S minus A, right, so that's one side, 8, times S minus B, which is the other side, 10, times S minus C, which is the third side, 11. So it's going to look something like this. We're going to multiply all of those together and then take the square root. Don't forget that square root. So S, 14.5, times S minus A, 14.5 minus 8, times S minus B, 14.5 minus 10, times S minus C, 14.5 minus 11. Again, the order does not matter in this one, okay? And now all you have to do is just plug that into your calculator, and hopefully you can just do it in one go. And again, remember that square root, and you're going to get the area of this triangle right here is 38.53 centimeters squared. All right? So that is everything. Those are all of the formulas. So here we've got Huron's formula right here for when you're given side, 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 and you're trying to find the area. And then the other area formula when you're given side, angle, side is this one right here, 1/2 AB sine C. All right? So hopefully this helps you with those last few questions on the review guide. Okay, again, feel free to reach out. I hope that these videos for trig were in any way helpful. All right. So with that being said, I'm recording this right before class. Class starts in about 20 minutes, so I gotta get going. But again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Okay, I'm gonna try my best. We have a few days to study. The final exam, as a reminder, is on December 2nd. All right, so that is on Wednesday. Today is Monday. That is on Wednesday. You guys are going to do fantastic. I have full faith in you. You guys got this, all right? And just as a reminder, if I do speak too quickly in any of my videos, you can always take a look at the playback speed. You can slow it down. You can pause, rewatch things if you need to, and always feel free to reach out with any questions, all right? We don't have a lot of time left for one-on-ones, but if you guys need to email me, text me, do that, okay? Bye, guys.